Hello all, I hope you're doing well. Like many an Englishman, if I find myself at a loose end on a Saturday afternoon, I might just click on the famous scene from The Lord of the Rings, The Ride of the Rohirrim, the incredible speech from King Theoden. A sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises. You'll have to make do with my own brilliant audio reenactment there. If I play the original audio, YouTube will take the video down, but wow, what a scene, eh? Gets the hairs on the back of the neck standing up, that one. Yeah, there's a reason why many of us find this scene, the movies themselves and the original books by Tolkien, so powerful and engrossing. I guess mainly because they're an attempt at reawakening a sort of English mythology. Gandalf himself, you could say, is rooted on a sort of Merlin Odin type figure. And the swords and the axes, the shields, the battles on horseback, they all speak to England in an Anglo-medieval age, and Tolkien himself said that The Lord of the Rings was first unconsciously full of Christian symbolism and later consciously so. On that note, figures like King Theoden and Aragorn represent something like the best of men. They know they are fallen and frail and can be overtaken by evil if they're not careful. However, in the end, despite facing some hardships, they do the right thing and fight for what is true, for what is just, for their people, for their kingdom, and the maintenance of a solid and safe future. Now, the reason I'm saying all of this is because The Lord of the Rings promotes a sort of heroism, a duty, a sense of honour that you can't help but admire. And these stories are absolutely vital in our culture because they provide the ideal model of men. And it's for this reason we have moving statues like that of King Alfred in Winchester, which was once the capital of England famously. This would fit in perfectly neatly into the Lord of the Rings movies. It's part of the same mythology. Now, we got thinking about all of this because of the scenes we've been seeing recently of hyper-modern warfare and what warfare will look like in the future, and then what the knock-on effects that will be for us as a culture and us as people. Now, I should warn you before we begin, while nothing I'm going to show is going to be graphic, they still are very powerful images of modern warfare. That was a bomb that landed on Israel recently. Now, the point of this isn't to take sides, it's just to explore modern warfare. Same as in the next video, the bombs in the sky here would almost look beautiful if you didn't know they were so deadly. They look like almost shooting stars. However, each one of these has the power to destroy many buildings when it lands. Now, the brutal nature of this aside, and I will air my thoughts on the Israel-Iran thing once I've done more research, we never normally get footage like this, HD images of bombs landing in modern cities. It makes one think, what happens to the heroism of war? Take King Theoden's army, the riders of Rohan, full of courage and bravery, willingness to defend their homeland. They could be wiped out in the click of a fingers with the power of modern warfare. And who are these people who create the modern weapons of warfare? Boffins in some distant university backroom, and they're fired by a guy flying a plane who's neither here nor there, and owned by states who've got their wealth via ill-gotten gains. And all of this begs the question, do we have soldiers these days or mercenaries? One of the places you might say we still have soldiers who are fighting for their homeland could be somewhere like Russia and Ukraine and the skirmish going on there. But as footage from there has been coming out and showing, they're not actually engaging in hand-to-hand combat a lot of the time, not even combat at a distance. It's drone warfare a lot of the time, which has a creepiness in and of itself. Bang, and then you die. And where's the heroism in any of this? Now, both sides have been publishing footage. Obviously, this garners sympathy, understandably so. You see, many of the soldiers are just resigned to their fate once they see a drone. Remember, nothing graphic here, but it is very psychologically and emotionally tormenting. This is a Russian soldier noting a Ukrainian drone. Now, there's no audio on this clip, which I think makes it all the more haunting. It eventually just cuts to black. Presumably, the drone has exploded and the poor fella's lost his life. Here's another example. This is a Russian drone tracking a truck full of Ukrainian men. And this one again is especially tragic. They're a bunch of men brave enough to go and fight, but really just get taken out by a soulless robotic drone. No fair fight, no man-to-man combat, nothing like that. Just gone. It seems to me an offence against nature that a group of emotionally and physically strong men can be taken out by some dork flying around a drone in some subterranean HQ in the middle of nowhere. Well, still, they can probably just code AI to take care of things, click the on button and then just leave it to do its business, as tragic as that is. And again, it begs the question, what does this say about us as a species? What are we turning into, and what does this mean for us politically? Now, I'd like to offer a sophisticated answer to all of that, but the truth is, I don't know. I don't know what this new technology, this new era of warfare means for us as human beings. I don't know what it means for the powers that be and if they're even surmountable. One thing I do feel confident saying is this seems to be another dimension of an increasingly mechanical and inhuman world. In my view, we need to get back in touch with our humanity via our spiritual traditions and a more earthy understanding of who and what we are. Of course, that's what I try and do on the sister channel, The Sacred Way. It's about personal spiritual transformation. Do check it out down below. I do believe that will be increasingly important in the future because we're technologically advancing faster than we are morally, emotionally, spiritually. I think that's quite a dangerous thing for humanity. Don't mean to be too negative. I do believe, of course, we are coming to a rebirth of a new era, but it's going to be rocky before we get there. Let me know what you think down below. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you know.